Hey everybody, just wanted to set this hunt up, do a little intro. Um, it was a roller coaster ride pretty much from start to finish, so that's what I've named this deer that was shot in this video. Name him Roller Coaster. But no, Carnley had put in some time on this buck that we call Houdini, and his first time hunting with us, he spent every day of the hunt in this stand for this deer, and he didn't show up. And this deer I had been getting on camera very regularly, and he didn't show up at all when we hunted. And we even took the steps to walk up to the stand instead of using the truck to come corn the senderos or whatever. Like, we took all the precautions that you need to do to kill big deer, just like when nobody's there. So we did all of that, and still we never have seen Houdini on the hoof, only on only on pictures. So anyway, long story short, we get to the hunt, and this deer shows up before legal shooting light. Several deer show up actually, and we know he's a big body deer. He's dark like Houdini, and we can see him pretty good in the binos because the moon was up pretty good, and we knew his horns were tall like Houdini's. And so from the side, he looked just like Houdini, same profile and everything, real long from his chest to his tail. And so we were just dead certain that it was him, and so we didn't bother looking at his horns real closely. The rest of the time, it was a waiting game. After that point, we're just waiting for legal shooting light and for a good safe shot. So shot came around, presented itself. The camera, you'll see, it's a little too dark for to get a real good view of him on the camera, but plenty of light to see him and get a good shot. And so I told Cody, he was like, we're not going to wait on the camera, I'd rather have him down before something happens. So Cody took the shot. Deer jumps and takes about 5 quick steps, and then all of a sudden his head drops and his front shoulders get low to the ground, so he's basically just kicking with his back legs. And so we were just high-fiving and just knew he would be down on the ground 30 or 40 yards out of our sight, the last place we saw him, because he was running pretty hard. And so we just knew we had him down, and we didn't do it on purpose, but we gave that deer over an hour. We sat in the stand over an hour. He was letting his wife know because his wife couldn't make it. And because she couldn't make it, we decided to go to Facebook Live, and so she could tune in and share in the recovery with Cody. And we thought that would be pretty neat. So we went Facebook Live and we couldn't find the deer. So we went about 60 yards in the brush and tried to find it, and we did find blood not too far away from where he hit it. And so we decided, well, you know what, we got a great tracking dog back at camp. So we went back to camp, or actually picked a few of the other hunters up, and got the dog and went to look for it. And sure enough, Guacamole got on the trail and tracked it several hundred yards, and then came to a rattlesnake in a bush, and that lost all his focus. So plus we had to get everybody back for breakfast, so I decided, well, let's all go back, eat, and then I had to take all the hunters back out to the other stands. And so I decided to come back after I dropped everybody off, just me and Guacamole, so he could stay focused better. And sure enough, when we got back on the trail, Guacamole picked up the same trail. He even walked by that same bush where the rattlesnake was, and he went a little bit further. And of course, from the first track, excuse me, he was a little wore out because he sprinted pretty much the whole way the first time we tracked him, and this is only about 3 hours in between the two tracks. So he was still a little tired. And so he kind of seemed like he lost focus a little bit. He was still trying to smell, but he wasn't, on the trail like he was. And so I just decided to look for the freshest tracks I could find, and because there's tracks everywhere. But I found one set of tracks that was pretty big and it was fresh, and most of the tracks were on top of all the other tracks that were there. So I tracked those tracks for about 75 yards and found another spot of blood. So I was like, all right, we found a needle in the haystack. At least now we know we're on the right trail. So I called Guacamole over. He gets back in front of me. He's still tired, but you can tell he's sniffing and following that trail. He's just not running like he usually does. But I mean, he is steadily walking, and you can hear a sniffer in overdrive mode. So he goes about another 200 yards, and then we both kind of smell what smells like when they on their hocks this time of year. We both kind of look up same time, but he throws his head up and just takes off in a dead sprint. And so I look up further, and sure enough, a big deer gets up and runs. So then I had to sprint, and I had to sprint out of the thick brush that we were in and get in kind of open area just in case Guacamole pushed him out. And that's when I heard Guacamole bark. So I know he had him bayed, and they were looking at each other face to face. So I had to sprint way up there to where he was barking, because they had taken off another several hundred yards. And then I had to put a finishing touch on him to get him down, walk up there, and of course it's not Houdini, but it's another good buck. And this buck has the exact same profile if you look at him from the side as Houdini. He just doesn't have as many points. So needless to say, we were happy, because we were bummed after the first time we took Guacamole out there that we didn't find him, and we put so much time in for this deer, and to think that he's out there wounded somewhere, we were just, I can imagine what Cody was feeling, but I was down in the dumps as well, knowing that deer was out there and we might not find him. So we were so happy to find this deer. It doesn't matter if it's not Houdini. At least now we know it. Houdini still lives. So hopefully we'll get a shot at him next year. But anyway, it was the craziest, funnest track that I've been a part of. So I was happy to take part in that with Guacamole. Happy for Cody, he got his deer, and you'll even see in the video. We just knew it was Houdini, so we were all pumped, high-fiving, hugging, whatever. And but that excitement is what I love about my job as a guide. I think that's why I have more passion guiding than actually hunting for myself. Seeing Cody's reaction to this, as well as many other hunters throughout this year in particular, is why I love my job. It's so cool to see that passion and emotion. And if you look at Cody's hand right after he pulls the trigger, that's when the shake started setting in. But that's what brings us all back. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video, and as always, happy hunting.
think we got him, buddy. He's hurt. Hell yeah. Yeah, he's a pig, dude. He's a tank. He's a tank. Make sure it's a good broadside shot. Don't take any stupid shot. Okay. I think we got him, buddy. He's hurt. Hell yeah. Yeah, he's a pig, dude. He's a tank. He's a tank. Oh, he's a tank. He's a tank. We finally did it. We got you, Dee, buddy.